You're setting goals all wrong, and it is killing your results. When it comes to consistently achieving new and progressive goals, into smashing through plateaus and all those kinds of things, or hell, just showing up consistently and doing the work. Let's be realistic here. Most people struggle. Most people can't find the rhythm or the system or the motivation or whatever you want to call it to, well, make it a reality. And part of the reason is the way that we set goals. Now, it varies depending on the methodology you used. So I'll go through a few of the examples. But first off, most people set really broad spectrum goals that are hard to quantify, are hard to track, are hard to actually follow through and achieve anything of note on. And they're often like, hey, I want to lose some weight, or I want to get into better shape, I want to be fitter, I want to be stronger, I want to look better. What the fuck does that mean? And you're not alone in this one. Like I have gotten this one a lot in my gym. People with these really broad, sweeping goals. But when you actually push it a little bit further, they have no idea like what they actually want. And that's fine because most people don't. But it makes it really, really hard, A, to get the right program for you, and B, to, well, follow through and actually do the work. So let's take losing weight, for example. What does that look like? I don't think that's a good goal. I think it's a shitty goal, to be honest. And especially, in the way we're structuring it. I want to lose some weight is ridiculous. But part of it is because, well, what does that look like to you? Because if you lose 100 grams, cool, technically you succeeded. You could go take a big fat dump and lo and behold, hey, you lost some weight. Good for you. You win. You achieved your goal. But I'm guessing that won't actually have ticked the box. I'm guessing that won't have actually fulfilled the need. So when you're doing stuff like that, well, it doesn't really motivate you. It doesn't inspire you. It doesn't push you forward. And it doesn't give you a tangible on where you're ending up. And then, on top of that, even if you say you got a ballpark and you're like, 10 to 15 kilos or, drop the belly fat a little bit. Well, if you make some progress and you get to a point and you're like, this shit is hard. This requires effort. This requires me showing up more than I want to. This requires more sacrifice than I'm used to or willing to give. It gives you a real easy way to opt out and be like, well, I did it. I lost some weight. I lost some belly fat. I toned up a little bit. I'm less fat than I was. Let's go back to who I was. Let's go back to what I was doing. That is not a goal that's going to hold you accountable. That is not a goal that is going to give you consistency. That is not a goal that is going to inspire you in the dark moments when you don't want a fucking bar of it. And as I said before, often I actually think, and people disagree with this, I think it's better to, and it's a delicate balance, I will recognize that, but I think it's better to focus on the negatives, because the negatives will drive you forward until you can establish truly the habits and the consistency that is required to do this job, to do what is necessary. So I think you need to focus on how that negativity made you feel. I think you need to focus on the gut or the man tits or the fact that you can't see your penis or whatever it might be that really upsets you and has driven you to the point where you're like, hey, I think I need to change. I need to do something about this. I need to step the fuck up and become a better man. And I know there'll be all these snowflakes who are like, oh, that's really bad way to think about things. You shouldn't focus on the negatives. Well, also, we shouldn't be overweight, we shouldn't be unhealthy, we shouldn't live lives that are spewing desperation, that we shouldn't sedate ourselves from doing the work that is necessary. There are lots of things that we shouldn't be doing, and I think I'm going to take the lesser of evils that's going to force me into a better state of life. That's just my opinion. But if you're going to make it really broad spectrum, it's just not going to work. The other option is that you make it too specific, and if you don't have the motivation to drive to do it, so say you need to lose 40 kilos, so you're like, I'm going to lose 40 kilos. That sure as shit ain't going to happen overnight. Getting down to single digit body fat, it's not going to happen like that. It's going to require a lot of consistency, a lot of focus, a lot of follow through, and a lot of thankless work that nobody's going to notice but you. I think you should. I think it's worth it. I think the changes in your life will be astronomical. But for most people, their psychology will not support that level of drastic change in their life. So that doesn't work either. Overall, what I think is the best option, and what I have found to, break the addictions of your current life, break the addiction of the old version of you, is not an outcome focus, but an action focus. And it comes back to the concept that addicts use, and it's one day at a time. And it works for a reason. Because, you are addicted to who you are. You are addicted to this current lifestyle. Your brain and neurons are literally wired for you to be this way. It is going to require breaking the addiction for you to step in and become that guy that you want to be. That is no small feat. You are literally going to rewire your brain to become a different person. Do you think that's an easy task? Do you think that's going to be really simple? That's just going to require you to show up haphazardly, occasionally, and with the same attitude and mentality that you've always had? Of course not. Of course that's not going to work. Of course it's going to require a whole different attitude, a whole different mentality, a whole different system. You're trying to become a different human being, as you should. We should be constantly evolving and becoming a better version. We should be constantly growing and leaving behind the person that we were. We should be constantly stepping into the greatest version of ourselves. That is the point of life, to grow and evolve and change for the better. But it doesn't happen overnight. So instead you should focus on action goals. That's why I structured Demanding Greatness the way it is. You have the 5 tasks that you're going to start with. Once you complete one phase, you progress into other tasks that come with it. But these are going to be uncomfortable. These are going to require change. These are going to require you doing things that you aren't used to and doing them every single day. But you are just going to take it one day at a time. You're going to do the 5 tasks. You're going to go for a weighted walk every single day. You're going to work out and lift weights every single day. You are going to drink 4 liters of water every single day. You're going to take a daily photo every single day. And you're going to eat an animal-based diet every single fucking day. No exception, no days off, no misses, no back steps. If you get to day 125 and you fuck it up, you go back to the start. But the concept for most people, and I stand by it, and I've said this before, that is too long a time, is just speaks to the psychology that we are trying to break. We are trying to improve the world because the fact that people think that 4 months is far too long a period of time to follow through and stick to something says everything you need to know about where your headspace is. We need to do better. We need to rewire our brains. We need to show up as better fucking versions. So yeah, it's going to require a different attitude. But instead of focusing on the end, focusing on I'm going to get into the best shape of my life, which you will, or focusing on I'm going to build mental toughness and discipline, which you will, or focusing on that you're going to completely change how you view exercise and nutrition, which you will, or that people won't recognize the man that you become, which they won't. What you need to focus on is, did I tick those 5 boxes today? Yes, no. It is black and white. There is no leeway. There is no gray zone. Did you do it? Yes, no. That's it. Cool. Get a fucking calendar. We're going to use the Seinfeld method of consistency here. You're going to get a calendar. Put a big fucking X on it. I was trying not to swear. I've slipped back into bad habits. But I'll try and dial it back. You're going to put a big X on it. Did you do it? Yes, no. Did you complete your list today? Yes, no. That is all that needs to be answered. That is it. And then the next day, you do the same thing. And the next day, did you do the same thing? And the next day, did you do the same thing? Your goal is to complete the action steps. Your goal is to just string as many crosses or X's on the calendar together as humanly possible, without a misstep, without missing a single day. That is it. That is all you are focusing on. And you do this, my friend, and game changer. Game changer. You're going to show up differently. You're going to respond to it differently. It's much less daunting. All you need to worry about is today. Did you do those things? Yes, no. That's it. You don't need to stress about anything else. You don't need to show up for anything else. You don't need to ask the question about anything else. Did you do those things? Yes, no. Doing this method will change the game for you. Doing this method will deliver you into a whole new stratosphere. Doing this method will break the cycle and build your consistency. Because you don't need to worry about, are you succeeding in other areas? You don't need to find the motivation to worry about next week, next month, next year. All you need to worry about is today. Showing up today and delivering on the thing that you said you would do today. We take it one day at a time. As I said, you're an addict to who you were. You're an addict to your old lifestyle. You're an addict to everything that you've built, even if you don't like it. Most addicts don't like where their life ends up. They're addicted to something. That's why they can't help it. But you have the capacity for change. You have the opportunity to make different choices. You have the ability to do so. All you have to do is make the choice. All you have to do is start with today. And you don't have to worry about who you're going to be in 126 days. That will happen by nature. That will happen by you just showing up and doing the work today. And then the next day. And then the next day. And just stringing those X's today. But down the track is not your responsibility. Down your track is not your concern. All you have to focus on is today. Today only. Did you win the day? That's it. If you win enough days, if you string enough wins together, life is going to be good. Life is going to change so astronomically for you. And you'll be shocked where in relatively a very short period of time, where you can get to and who you can become. All you have to do is make that first decision. All you have to do is decide on that first day who you're going to be and what you are going to do. You do that, and everything else in your life gets better. So if you're ready for it, it's time to start demanding greatness.